the last 90 days are just an opportunity.
And you own it 5 minutes later. That can happen on blockchain.
I think that there are a lot of Bitcoin investors that are disappointed.
Michael Saylor says the last 90 days are nothing more than opportunity.
And our Trump says, with blockchain, you can own it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and Anthony Pompliano says Bitcoiners may be disappointed. Welcome back to Bimblebit from the Satoshi's Hive studio. This is Shooting the Shit. I'm Damien.
I'm Andy.
And we're just two guys sitting around a table talking about Bitcoin. Welcome back to the show, wherever you're joining us from around the world, YouTube, Nostr, otherwise. Thank you for the likes, follows, and subscribes. We certainly appreciate it. All right, let's get into her. Time chain calendar blockchain height, 933,017.
And climbing. It's always more the next show.
Yep.
You know, every 10 minutes, eh? Well, hey, coming up, Jack Dorsey launches a new app.
Yeah, and Tennessee and Virginia, they're in the headlines with BTC.
Kazakhstan swapping out the gold.
And Iran now supporting Bitcoin. That stuff and more coming up.
Colonel, how many pieces of Bitcoin go into every bucket?
Well, now we keep it at 21 pieces. Same number as that total supply everyone talks about. 21?
That's a whole blockchain feast.
So we all know the name Jack Dorsey. He was the original co-founder of Twitter and does lots of other stuff.
Square.
Yeah. So he has launched a brand new app. It's a messaging app. It's called BitChat. And what's really cool about this app is it does not require the internet.
How does he make it work?
I do not know. That's why he is Jack Dorsey.
Isn't that something? Eh?
Yeah, and you know he knows what he's doing because of the Twitter in the background.
He's got the background to pull something like this off, but we're going to have to look into that. How do you set up a messaging app without having that?
I don't know, but I've already tried to download it, and I will keep checking, and we will keep you posted, okay? For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, we've got some exciting news out of the state of Tennessee now. Has proposed a new bill to buy Bitcoin, right? 10%. And it's West Virginia that's going to allocate 10%.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So a lot more states are starting to sign on. And Kazakhstan, they are swapping out gold. They have a lot of gold, and they actually sold off $300 million worth of gold and put it into Bitcoin.
Did they now?
Welcome aboard, Kazakhstan.
Did they now?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I know.
And how about the United Arab Emirates? They're now mining with some pretty unique gas-created methods there.
Yeah.
Right?
We've talked about the different way the mining is going on from natural gas, which they are doing, to nuclear power, to hydro, to emissions from landfills, volcanoes.
And leftover stuff that they just burn off anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, for sure. And we're also going to get into some really fun stories coming up because we're going to go back to El Salvador.
Yeah.
Cool stuff at the airport.
Yeah.
We're going to delve into those coming up.
Bitcoin field in sight, flaps full, coming down through 600. Little crosswind, but we'll ride it out. Touching down, there we go. Bitcoin. Who doesn't like a good place to land?
So you've just landed in the beautiful country of El Salvador, and last week we showed you the new things that they put up. Jay, can you show those really quick? This is the monument and the computer screens that they did. Well, now they've done something even cooler.
The passport.
They're beautiful.
Their passport. It's got Bitcoin on the passport, and it's saying, welcome to Bitcoin country. And it's even got spaces where you can, almost like a journal, where if you visit someplace in El Salvador,
collect stamps.
Now, you can collect stamps, you can write stories about your memories there. I mean, this is really taking it to the next level. Good on the guy, hey?
And what's really cool is the mission statement in the passport starts with, your mission, should you choose to accept it. I love that.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
So
for
cool.
Sure.
So last week we had an email from Hal Finney who wrote Satoshi. And last week, actually, it was, what day? The 13th of January marked the very first transaction of Bitcoin. This is when Satoshi sent Hal 10 Bitcoin.
10 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Well, I'm sure it's trial period, right? They're trying to make things work.
It was probably worth, a 100th of a cent at that point or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, worth absolutely nothing.
But
just a cool story.
very
for
cool,
sure.
very cool.
Yeah.
And what about this 15-year-old wallet that just came to life?
A Satoshi-era wallet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Thoughts?
$181 million. This individual, this OG, moved 2,000 Bitcoin. But the bigger picture is the market was able to, because he's taking his profit.
Yeah.
Give him his profit, stay resilient.
And absorbed.
It remains strong.
It absorbed it.
It absorbed it.
Yes, it did. It really did.
Takes a lot of the panic away.
It really did. Hey? Yeah.
All right. Now we're going back to 2012 for a show called The Good Wife. Did you ever watch it?
I did a couple of times.
Did you see this when it actually aired?
I didn't see when it actually aired, but I saw this story come up about a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that Bitcoin was ever mentioned on TV from 2012, The Good Wife.
I went online and I bought 1 Bitcoin last night.
Really? It's the future.
I don't know. It didn't feel real.
Real's gonna change. Just watch.
Look where we are today.
I know. What did she buy? 3 Bitcoin, I think it was?
Yeah, it was $3 a coin.
$3 a coin, yeah.
So she bought Bitcoin. $3 a coin. That's awesome.
Really.
Videos are coming up.
Through midfield again, face the burn, strikes it! Absolute rocket into the top corner. The stadium is on its feet. Bitcoin, what are your goals?
So Michael Saylor, who is our strategy B guy, is owning over 600,000 Bitcoin, is chiming in with a video basically saying the last 90 days are nothing more than opportunity.
I don't think there's any question in my mind. The industry's evolving the right way. The network is evolving the right way. And the last 90 days are just an opportunity for, someone that's got clear eyes to buy more Bitcoin.
And he's right. And he is right.
And he is right.
Yeah, a lot of people look at that and go, no, it's just too much. What it was to what it is now, it is not too much.
Yeah.
Fractions.
Sats. And I'm still very bullish about 2026. I don't know about you.
Buy.
Buy.
Not the Backstreet Boys. It's buy.
Yeah.
Eric Trump, he's talking about blockchain. And we talked about blockchain last week with the 3 things that it did really well. It's truth. Right. It also talked about the
transparency.
Yeah, the transparency and the instant
signed,
sealed, delivered. Yeah, this is what he's talking about.
Why is it that if you have crypto, you can't literally go into your wallet, you drive by a house that you and your wife or husband or whoever the hell it is absolutely love, and you own it 5 minutes later? That can happen on blockchain. You have to send a big wire to somebody, and you're hoping to God that J.P. Morgan Chase can get it out, and that the person didn't go on their coffee break or decide to leave for the Hamptons.
So why not? You and your wife see a house you like within 5 minutes without waiting for transactions and sending money to this person and confirming it's good. You bought it. 5 minutes later, you are done and on your way to your new home. Car, yacht, loaf of bread.
Whatever you need.
Yeah.
And Anthony Pompliano, our big buddy here, and he's doing real good. He's in a lot of the network shows now. Really, really well-spoken gentleman. He says that some Bitcoiners could be disappointed. But he's referring to the price not climbing. Let's listen to what he has to say.
I think that there are a lot of Bitcoin investors that are disappointed that Bitcoin did not go to 150, 200, 250. I mean, take your crazy number that people were predicting. At the same time, we have to remember Bitcoin is up 100% in 2 years. It's up almost 300% in 3 years. It has been compounding. The compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin over the last decade is 70%. This thing has been a monster in financial markets.
Bigger picture, the zoom out.
So what was it? Over the last 2 years, it's up 200%. Over the last 3 years, it's up 300%. And over the course of the last 10 years, it's up 70% a year on average.
Yeah.
Sure, we're going to have some dips and some big go-ups, but that's the average so far. We have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, said on Fox that he believes that the banks are intentionally trying to slow down the progression of Bitcoin through aiming to slow adoption. The banks want to keep control, and they just want to stop crypto altogether. Why would you want to do that when it's such a profitable thing if you were going to be a part of it?
It's people were really excited about this being passed last week.
Well, it didn't quite get passed, right? They all rejected it next month.
It was probably largely because of Brian Armstrong, because he came and he saw that and he goes, hey, That's not what we talked about. You've got too many restrictions in here to allow it to be a decentralized situation. So he was a big advocate saying, I wouldn't pass that bill the way it is right now.
Yeah. I mean, we need those voices.
We do.
We need them.
We do.
We're going to give the last word to Jack Dorsey here in a minute. You have anything else you want to talk about?
Just about the solo miner again.
Another one.
Yeah. So we had another solo miner settle a block and make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, like, why is that happening, from time to time? And we talked about hash rate, right?
Yeah.
That got brought in the conversation.
One of our group mentioned that the hash rate has slowed right down. So
Right.
that tells me that the bigger companies are shutting down some of their mining facilities, which is kind of cutting the competition. So the ma and pa can actually go in there and win it. This is the 7th one in the last year.
Yeah. And so that's great. I mean, that hash rate is going to go up and down, and miners are going to turn on and turn off. But it's nice to see a little guy win once. Yeah. We love the little guy winning once.
And we're going to give the last word to Jack Dorsey coming up here. But he has got a brand new app we talked about that does not require the internet, called BitChat. How on earth do you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know?
But I mean, Jack Dorsey is Jack Dorsey, right? I mean, he's created so many things over his lifetime. So, yeah, if you know, let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. What do you think? How is he doing that? How is that even possible? That is a game changer right there. But here is the final from Jack Dorsey, who says Bitcoin will unite a deeply divided country and eventually the world. Powerful words.
Powerful.
More powerful than that, time now for your Bitcoin event calendar.
Satoshi quotes. The Times, 3rd of January, 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Satoshi Nakamoto.
Hey, we really appreciate you joining us. And if you wouldn't mind, hit the QR code. Every little bit helps our show be better than the last one.
Yeah, wherever you're joining us from Nostr, YouTube, or around the world, thank you for the follows, the likes, and the subscribes. We appreciate it. I'm Damien.
I'm Andy.
We're just two guys sitting around a table shooting the shit about Bitcoin right here on Bimblebit.com.
Cheers, mates.